Hello, welcome back to Italian.oraculum. I'm Danilo, and today I wanted to talk a little bit about using multiple decks and multiple systems during one single reading. Now, before we start, please remember to subscribe, leave me comments, like the videos, all the YouTube things. If you want to book a reading, my email is in the description of the every videos. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, my handle is italian_oraculum. I have not been very active on Instagram, I'll be honest, but I'm deciding to do better. Let's put it that way. So, without further ado, multiple systems, multiple decks. How, why, which ones? So let's start from the last one. Here I have an oracle, specifically an animal oracle, but any other kind of oracle deck would be fine. I have a tarot, playing card, runic cards, and a Sibylla style deck. So five different things all in cards form. Of course, I could use a set of runes instead of the uh, runic deck. I could use maybe charms of something instead of the oracle deck if I want something physical, something a little bit more different than just cards, cards, cards. But these are the systems that we use when it comes. No, these are, I feel like a good chunk of what we actually use in divination when it comes to cleromancy or casting or picking a certain numbers of symbols from a larger kit, a larger system. So the cards from a deck, or the specific charts from a set, or the specific runes from a set. So that's the thing. Now, why and how? First, why? It's because depending on what we are going to use, we can in one single spread, in one single reading, find a lot more than what we can with just one deck, just one system. So, for example, I could use an oracle to have an energy of the person. I could use the tarot for the generic most important parts of the future, and then maybe use the playing cards for the past and the present, or switch it up. I could use the tarot for the general energy, and then a Sibylla style deck for an actual predictive reading. I could use the runes for a past, present, future, or a more of sort of energetic kind of reading, and then have the tarot for the storytelling part of the reading, and then maybe an animal oracle or some, or even a plant oracle or something like that, to give an advice, or to receive a message from the universe of some sort. So not necessarily something that answers the question, or something that only applies to what we are looking with the other cards. So the whys are to have a bigger picture, to have a more in-depth or more diverse reading. How? It's pretty simple. You shuffle your decks and use them and just apply the cards some at a time. So, for example, I want to start with an oracle card to have an indication about the current personality and their strength and weaknesses. So I'm going to use my new oracle. That's why I didn't remember it had two boxes, and I go, so this is their personality, this is the weaknesses, this is the strength. So, and I said is because it's one card. I know it should have been R. Anyway, so this is R in Italian. I am Italian. I decided to just talk in English because I feel like the TarotTube community is made mostly of English speaking people. So for now I'm just speaking in English in my videos. Maybe sometimes I could go back to do one in Italian, but anyway. So I have a spider, a toad, and a I'm drawing a blank on this creature's name in English. It's not a porcupine. It's the small one, hedgehog. So the keywords here for the quantum personality are connection and shadow. Connection, the spider web. Shadow, they are creatures that move well in darkness. They are creatures that belong to our fears more than to our ideal animal puppy pet sort of category when it comes to human imaginations. Spiders are connected to knowledge, mysteries, so it checks out. While the toad, it's the weaknesses, and the keywords are listening and wisdom. No, sorry, secrecy. So, I mean, I honestly don't like toad and frogs as a whole, so I have kind of of a problem to use this card. But anyway, I would use this card to describe weaknesses as someone who listens but maybe doesn't act or communicate just as well, or does not listen, and secrecy, so someone who keeps information, which would go along with the communication problem, or someone who goes behind other people's back, so a clear flaw in one's character. While with the hedgehog we have the inner world and curiosity. So these are your strengths, so your curiosity, your will to explore, and your inner wisdom, your self-analysis abilities, your knowledge of yourself and your imagination, your inner resources. And they're all three more nocturnal animals, if I don't remember, if I'm not wrong, but I could use that for so we have an amphibian, an arachnid, and a mammal. No birds, that could mean something more nighttime creatures, that could mean something. Smaller, that could mean something. The smallest is the spider, and it's the only. I mean, the hedgehogs are omnivores, and frogs and toads eat insects, but I'm not sure if I will consider this a predator, so two of three are. Spiders are also venomous, so it's an interesting person, it's an interesting character. Now I'm trying to go a little bit faster with the rest, so let's go with my tarot. I'm going to do a simple past, present, and future. Sorry, I'm trying to keep this deck in order, so I'm a little bit slower in using it. So past Six of Swords, present Queen of Swords, future King of Pentacles. So the past and present are more mental situation. It's the aftermath, it's the resolution, it's the taking. Uh, I'm I'm having a problem constructing this phrase. So anyway, it's leaving problems behind. It's leaving fights and negative situations altogether behind oneself, especially in the mind. So taking back your own frustration, your own energy, your own time, taking all of it back and stop participating in the drama and in the conflict and in the problem on all sides, because you stop doing it in your mind, you stop doing it with your words, you stop acting into it as a consequence, but you close that door within yourself, which is very important, and it leads to being the Queen of Swords. So the now you are emotionally intelligent, you are emotionally wiser, you know what truly makes you happy, how to organize, and how to plan to keep or reach your happiness. So that's good, and it's going to give you everything you want. With the King of Pentacles, you are going to become the firm, self-assured person who has everything they need, who knows everything they have, who is the master of their kingdom. And then I could go with maybe a playing card to say, I don't know. Mm, at this point, ask me a specific question, and then you go with the classical love, and then I go, okay, let's see, one, again, I'm trying to keep this in order, so 2 and 3. So I would say, okay, your situation in love is this. Your actual relationship, the one that's already going, it's about to get some. It's about to get to a rough path, and not because there are going to be fights, and not because there are going to be problems, but because you don't spend enough time together, you are a little bit bored. You should find a way to keep the relationship interesting, no, interesting. But from what I can see, you are going to move past this boredom, this situation where you are distracted, maybe for your work or because you have other obligations that take away time from the couple itself. But to get past it, you have to talk, you have to reason, and again, find still a way to spend time together. This is an example. I could have used, instead of the playing cards, the Sibylla, and go let's keep the thing about a, a love situation, and I could have gone, okay, so the servant, jealousy, and the I don't know how you would translate Belvedere in English. It's a beautiful view, basically. So at the end of the day, we have a situation where one of the two is maybe doing too much, is maybe giving too much to the other partner. It's not a relationship between two equal people. There is something that does work. It's going to become a problem. It's going to be a big problem with jealousy, envy. One of the two is going to maybe try to make the other feel guilty about their success, or some personal dissatisfaction with your lives is going to cross in what is your relationship, what is your couple life. But at the end of the day, I would say you get past it. You can find a way to reason it. It's something that's going to get resolved. Now, of course, I'm not actually asking questions, so at this point, I would go and reference the tarot. So you have the chance to be reasonable, to be smart about it, especially when it comes to emotional stuff. These are your personality traits you should use in this situation. So I wouldn't just read the three sets and that's it. I would then try to incorporate everything together, while with something like the runic oracle, I could have used it to talk about the energy. So instead of the animals, I could have gone with one rune, or maybe three. And then say, instead of these are your quality, or etc., you have these energies in your past, in your present, and in your future, and then relate them to the tarot underneath, and now and in the future, and even in the past, like kind of use them to explain the situation, try to use this to give an advice on how to deal with this situation, and then use this to give a little bit more insight in this future situation. Again, it's a useful, I think it's a useful trick, honestly, more than a system or an alternative to more traditional readings. I just think it's a it's a cool trick, honestly. It's something we can do to offer more insightful reading, or even if you are someone like me who doesn't necessarily like to just go predictive readings on love, but prefers to maybe look about the energy of the person, the psychology of the person, even when they ask you questions about practical manners. You like to take a look at the emotional and mental states of your current and the other people involved to try to give a better answer, to try to give advice, etc. You can incorporate more decks to obtain just that, to have every piece of your equipment, every system, every instrument, every tool tell you something different. So any of them turns into a specific lens through which you can read your answer for your query or for yourself, of course. It's also useful, I believe, to people who read for themselves but have sometimes maybe a problem in staying objective and sincere with themselves. If you just go with a tarot or an oracle, maybe you can kind of trick yourself into believing the reading is positive in this way, while avoiding the fact that there are challenging cards. But I again, I believe this is just a, a useful and very interesting way to read your whatever. They don't even really need to be cards. You maybe have different sets of charms. One is of proper charms, one is of crystals, and then you have a runic set. So you kind of combine three different casting systems. But again, the diversity of the symbols, the diversity of your answers is going to translate, in my opinion, in a more insightful reading and in a more sincere one, because again, with different symbols that you have to relate to one another, it starts to get difficult to tell yourself lies. It starts to get difficult to not tell your querent what you're actually seeing, what you're actually perceiving, instead of what you wish for them, for their happiness, or let maybe anxiety or their own energy and anxiety kind of influence you. So this was today's video. I hope you liked it. I hope maybe it starts your curiosity in trying doing something like this. I decided to try because in Italian it's not something that is really done. Sorry, in Italian. In Italy, it's really rare for a card reader to use multiple decks at the same time. Maybe they use a tarot or a Sibilla, and that's it. But I use one for one question and then another for another question. It's never combining them, and I found it very interesting. I saw it in a few videos here on YouTube, and so I decided to explore the thing and now kind of start talk about it. Okay, thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and once again I kindly ask you to subscribe and leave me likes and comments, and I see you soon. Bye.